the things that I had to do sometimes to pick him up when he was in a bad state, if you know what I mean. I had to go get him for that. I'm never going to let that happen to me with my son.
Welcome to the Satori Lifestyle Satori Masters podcast, the ultimate resource for ambitious, hardworking school owners that want to get their business and their life to the next level. My name is Dave Kovar. I'm a lifetime martial artist, business owner, speaker, and author. My goal is to empower listeners with the knowledge and the tools they need to break through barriers and really get their business and their life to the next level. Thanks for watching and enjoy. Welcome to the Satori Lifestyle Satori Masters podcast. I'm your host, Dave Kovar, and with me today is Shihan Mark Caswell. How are you, sir?
Hey, I'm doing fantastic, sir. Every day above ground is a great day.
So we were just joking beforehand because I'm taking a look at Mr. Caswell and I, and we've known each other for 35 years, literally. It's like what, 1989 when you came in, I think, 88
yes,
or 89?
88, yes, sir. 80.
Oh man, like 36 years. But we both have, I've got some little gray scraggly stuff on you as well. We've got our reading glasses on, and we don't quite look the same as we did when we first met each other. But anyway, yeah, it's all good.
Didn't put my glasses on, but I couldn't see anything. So
all right, yes, sir. Well, Mark Caswell is. I'm going to give a little bit of a history, and then you're going to fill in the blanks. Okay. Mark Caswell's been part of the team for 35 years, and he's moved. Do I say semi-retired now? Like he was.
I am semi-retired.
So he was a head instructor for 25 or 30 years with us, and in the last year and a half, he's cut down to part-time, and he splits his time between living here in the Sacramento region and going to the South to hang out next to your son. So
South Carolina.
Yeah,
yes,
South
sir,
Carolina.
absolutely.
So you're kind of split your time, and we're lucky enough when you're in Sacramento to still get you a few days a week. But I think you have an interesting story, and I wanted to kind of go back to our first, when you first came in. I jokingly, I tried. He came in. He was this enthusiastic, excited guy, little rough around the edges. And I remember almost trying to talk you out of training with me.
I think it was the old army jacket and the scruffiness of my face and kind of like just the way I wouldn't go away.
Yeah, and he had the old Century lace-up gi pants with with the red stripes down the side and the pocket in the back.
The back pocket, got to have the back pocket. That's right.
But you actually were the senior student of one of my first students, a guy named Mark Nickham, who was
yes, sir.
And so, give me a little bit of a martial arts history.
Well, really, to start off with, in the early 70s, I was with Ron Cox.
That's right. That's right. Sure. I forgot that.
And that was Arden Way. And I was there I did a group lesson with two other people, a guy named Brent Balch, another gal named Marissa, actually. And so we started off as group lessons, and that's how I was able to go because my family couldn't afford doing lessons. So it was the three of us doing it. And then we did that for like 6 months, and I got a really good base going back then. There was going for orange belt. That was it in the Kempo system. And so as I'm going along, well, unfortunately, I was involved in a car accident, and my buddy that I've known, growing up, he actually got killed in a car accident. And so, of course, he was the one that was helped sharing my lessons. So that pretty much had an abrupt change in my life at that point in time. And also at that time, I had to continue to stop doing martial arts lessons. But what I did do is kept up on the sheet that I have and all the basics. And then that kind of came in handy when later on, I met your senior student from North Highlands, Mark Nickham. And I was with him for like 6 years until he said, hey, I really can't, take any more. So I want to take you to my instructor. And then that's when I came to you. And the first time I came, I just kind of went in. I think we got a belt and I checked out the old school. But then later on, when that day you talked about, I actually had a wisdom tooth pulled. And so I was actually, at the same time, I had blood dripping out of the side of my mouth. There was a little bit more to it, and that's when I was right down the street, and I said, I'm going to stop in and see what's going on.
Okay, and, maybe that explains why you were a little loopy too.
Yeah. I'll tell you. Anyway, but with that, at that point in time, so when I met you, I went ahead and started what we're going on right now. I had to make ends meet because my wife and I didn't know how we were going to make it. We had a couple of kids going, or one kid at the time going on, Christopher, and we didn't know how we were going to do this, but I ended up going ahead and making it happen. And about 2 months later, I would get off work and be there early. And I noticed that every time I was there, there was a certain class where you could use a little help. And I jumped on the mat. You asked me, hey, you want to help out? And then next thing I know, after about 2 times doing it, I says, hey, you said, you're pretty good at this. You ever thought about doing it for a career? And I said, no, sir, thank you for the opportunity. I mean, that sounds great. Then later on, we made it happen. So
Yeah.
it was one of the best things I ever did, actually.
Yeah, well, you've always had this level of enthusiasm, everybody that knows you, but I also a sense of appreciation, if you don't mind, like you had, I had the most functional childhood you possibly can. My
Yeah.
parents were as the Cleavers, man, like as normal as
Oh,
possible.
I love your pop. I love
Yeah,
your pop. You know
yeah,
that. And your mom.
thank you, and you didn't really have the most functional family growing up,
Yeah,
so.
I'll tell you. Yeah. So,
Give me a, as much as you care to share, a bit about
okay,
your childhood,
sure,
because I
sure.
think it
Well,
really comes into play here.
I think a lot of times, basically, I was just like every other kid in what we call North Highlands. We all were from McClellan Air Force Base, and we were all brought there because of different base closures. And so with that, I came out here, and as I was 1 year old, and my mom wanted to move to California from Mobile, Alabama, and my dad was going to do whatever my mom wanted. So we moved all the way out here, and next thing you know, some challenges were happening. She didn't have the support system she used to have. My dad didn't have that support system. They started not getting along well because my mom actually was had some mental challenges, and so with that, she manic depressive is how they used to call it. Now it's bipolar. But with that, she was in and out of mental hospitals, and my dad did the best to deal with it, the best he could, but he drank a little bit. Matter of fact, I'm glad to say that tomorrow I'm 61, and my dad passed away when he was 60. So I think I'm going to miss his mark.
I remember going to his funeral, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
I
that's
remember.
crazy.
Yeah, that was crazy. And so my mom actually passed when she was 65. So one of the things that I'm really happy about, that martial arts has not only given me a little more mental clarity, the physical aspect I've always enjoyed, but also it's given me purpose and drive in life. And purpose and drive in life is just about the most important things you could possibly have. I've got my at the karate school. My son worked with me for years. The whole family would do martial arts together. That was, some people roller skated, some people ice skated, some people did others. We did martial arts together. I know all the different extravaganzas that
Yeah, you
we
guys
did.
would do it. The whole family, we would have every
Yeah.
year. The
Yeah.
the Caswells would perform. Yep.
We would perform. That was, the great bonding, and we'll never forget that. Matter of fact, at this point in time, it's kept me close to my family as it is. My son, as you said, moved away, and he took my grandbaby with him,
How
and
dare
which,
he?
yeah, how dare he? So we had to figure out what we're going to do, and luckily, my wife's been working so hard lately, and we've done well by ourselves to put some money away. We were able to go ahead and buy a house in South Carolina, sell ours here, but we actually right now I'm in my daughter and well, it's all of our houses. We're actually getting this one together. My daughter, my son-in-law, my grandson Adrian. I get to interact with him every day. The love of my life right now, of course, is martial arts. But I'm going to tie this back into later, hopefully, if I can remember. But of course, I have a bonus granddaughter that's 12 from a previous engagement on Chris's side, and with Chris's, I have Kylie, who is 3. I have, excuse me, let's try this again. Kira, who's 3. Kylie, who's 1.5. Then over here in Lincoln, California, I have Adrian James, who's now 2.5. So I've got all those ages coming there, growing up, and I'm able to interact with them very well at 3 or 4 times a week out in South Carolina with those grandbabies. Oh, by the way, my son's wife's pregnant again and due in December. So he's gonna end up
Wow.
with 4 in the household. Yeah. So with that said, that's kind of one of the reasons why he moved where he would, so he can go ahead and make this all happen. And
Right.
he also has a good support system there because her family retired back there too. So it's kind of a split shift. And so it's really neat now that see I saw these kids this way when they were my kids, but when they're my kids, they're a little different than grandkids. So now I'm not seeing my kids in the little samurais that are there. I'm not seeing my kids in the
Right. You're
a
seeing your
junior
grandkids.
program. They're grandkids. Well, yeah, you treat grand. I don't know about you. I mean,
I don't
anybody
have
else?
any.
I know that, but those that do have them out there, you treat your grandkids a little bit different than you treat your kids, and so it gives me a whole different interactive response with them, and a little more patience, love, and enjoyment being there. One of the reasons, why I semi-retired is just so I could be continuous with the martial arts and be continuous with teaching and all the benefits that are going with that.
So tell me, so what, I got a pertinent question for you.
Mhm.
What is one of your most best success stories when it comes to teaching? Like a student maybe that was super challenging or hard, or what jumps out at you? Because you've through the years, you've taught back to back. As a matter of fact, I bragged about you before. I don't know if there's very few people. There's a handful of people on the planet that have taught more classes than you have. Because literally, you're teaching 5-6 days a week, 5-6 classes a day for decades.
Yes,
And
sir.
as a matter of fact, there's no doubt in my mind that as much as I've taught, you've taught more because I've been off the floor, on that schedule for a long time.
Yeah.
And
Well,
so you've interacted with thousands of students. So give me a success story or more.
you know, the it's always the ones that you don't think are going to make it. Of course, I don't like to name names and bring people up, but I remember children when we first started, and they would just lay down on the ground at the end when the lineup was done, and all the kids were walking over just stepping over them because they didn't know what to do. The line didn't move; they went straight. But that person ended up with a lot of help, love, tender care, a lot of maturity, extra years. Ended up getting their black belt with us, and it was that little stories like that go a long way. There's tons of them where I'm sorry you're not going to be ready. The tears flow, and you make a plan with the parents, and then they step up and they do what they're supposed to do. Those are the stories that I remember. And like I said, they kind of meld into one because there's so
Yeah,
many that happen. And again, not naming names or bringing up anybody, but and so those are the ones that are challenging. Of course, you love the ones that are fantastic too, but I
right.
think the ones that tug at my heart the most is if I see, like I said, if that's my grandson struggling or my granddaughter struggling, how am I going to help them to get to the next level,
Yeah.
whatever that is.
Yeah. So I'm snickering because I'm having a flashback, and we'll just go by the first name of Mark, who one
Okay,
time at a karate camp a million years ago, we have the big school in Carmichael. You and I are running a camp, and he's going from one room to the other. I think you just turned off the camera there, Mr. Gargudo.
I lost you.
Yeah, I know. And anyway, so he he's rolling from one room to the other,
Literally rolling
like
from one.
sideways rolling. And I go, Mark, what's going on? I'm tired. But he actually ended up being a pretty decent, martial artist. It was
He
so
did.
many
He did.
times.
So many times. And then, of course, we've had challenges with, everybody's had the ADHD and whatever labels you want to put on them. I don't just remember, we'll call him Lenny, but we're having a karate camp. Oh, yeah, having a karate camp. And we all know about Lenny, and his mom's gives us a cue on everything that's going on. And she drops him off 25 minutes early to a karate camp. And I see him, and he's bouncing in front of the door. And he does take medication for this ADHD. And I said, hey, Lenny, I just want to know, hey, did you take your medication this morning? And Lenny goes, oh yeah, sometimes they're duds. It's like, okay,
I love
that,
that story. I knew it was
well,
coming. I'm laughing
it's
ahead of
just
time because
it's just the way they think, I just classic. And then, sometimes they're duds. And I can relate to that also with myself, trying to keep that self-discipline drive going and yeah, the excitement and hoping that, getting that excitement to work correctly for you.
yeah, very cool. Well, you are a few years younger than me, but only a few, and we've been trained together for 35 years. And if
Sure.
anybody out here has been around for a long time and you maybe got how to teach martial arts videos or the dynamic drills and skills, this guy right here, Mark Caswell, was in he's the best uke. Maybe was because I'm not, we're not putting you through
Oh,
that
I
anymore.
tell you.
You earned the right not to be an uke anymore.
And I
But
thank you
for
for that.
yeah,
Yes, absolutely. Take it
but
out on the young guys.
yeah, but if you'd see him, like everybody, like because we put out a lot of videos for the years, everybody knows Mark Caswell through just being being around in the industry for so long. But um, you still are training and very
Yeah,
consistent. As a matter of fact, we were just together. We'll be this morning working out,
yes,
just
sir. We're
literally
working out
this
this
morning,
morning.
like and so and what hopefully am I see you tomorrow?
I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah,
Absolutely.
we'll see you
Yeah.
tomorrow too for training. So,
What else would I do on my birthday, boss?
there is. Oh man, very
Right.
good.
61 tomorrow. 61.
Dang, you're getting old, man.
Hey,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So anyway, what keeps your first off, because you're really fit and you still have passion for martial arts, and that doesn't happen at 61 by accident. So it's been a very mindful thing for you. So what have you done to make that happen?
Well, see, I talked, kind of didn't really speak positive or negative about my dad. I just kind of mentioned the challenge that he had. But I learned a lot from him. Okay, good and bad, of course. One of the times that I remember the most that I will share with all my kids is wrestling around, just having a good time, unorganized play, just, wrestling around. But the things that he taught me was I'm not going to be like him in a certain area. I'm going to have a flat stomach at 60. I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I can move. I can get up out of a chair. I can. The things that I had to do sometimes to pick him up when he was in a bad state, if you know what I mean. I had to go get him for that. I'm never going to let that happen to me with my son. So all these things that there were kind of a negative vibe on me, I turned it around into a positive learning experience. Of course, that's the whole idea behind life.
Yep. Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, good deal, man. Well, so let's just say, man, we've got somebody on the line who is running a martial arts school, and he's been in business for 10 years, and COVID came along and lost half a student body, and he's never recovered from that. He's still having a hard time. He's feeling disillusioned, and he's wondering what the heck's going on, man. Yeah, I mean, you ran a school for enough. What would you tell me? What advice would you give me? Let's say I'm that guy, man. What would you
Well,
tell me?
well, I ran the Carmichael School. We had what 650, depends on you counted the students.
Well, actually, you were there in the early 90s when we had 900 members there. Yeah.
There you
Yeah.
go. Yeah. So yeah, that was a different, and that's different than the Granite Bay School that had 350 or
Well,
400
and
at
we
one
grew
time.
that one. We
Well,
grew that one.
500. Yeah,
Okay.
I try to be
Okay.
modest as possible.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Because I just want to be clear, because yeah, we grew
Yeah,
that one to 500.
705. But and then working at Madison, okay, just all the different places, you're going to have to look at them differently. Of course, we know that. But the one thing that is always there is the love of martial arts,
Mhm.
the love of what you're doing. You know as much as I do, because I learned from you that after a certain while, your life basically is the routines that you go through on a regular basis. Whether they deviate here or there, it's still the routines. I get up, and I do a certain meditation. I get up and I do a certain exercise. I do both, whatever it is. I start in the morning, prep for the day, and I hope for the best. And the idea behind that is also to make sure you have a reason to wake up in the morning. I hear so many of my more seasoned friends, if you might say, that it's like, just got to have a reason to get up. And I said, well, there's always a reason to get up. There's someone to help, someone who needs you. So again, samurai, try to do your best to serve the community. Try to do your best to serve your student base. Do your best to serve your staff. Even though you may not be able to afford a lot, you can afford a couple of sandwiches and some time to spend with them to show your appreciation, whatever it is. And I honestly, that's pretty much in a nutshell what I would say. Just start
Yeah.
at the basics and work over. You did it once, do it again.
Yeah. Great advice, man. Great advice. Well, good deal, man. Well, I always harass. My favorite thing to do. We have a joke, because Shion Caswell has a great sense of humor, and so the more oftentimes he'll say something in the middle of staff meeting, and my joke is, "Your class is in the other room," meaning, but all kidding aside, much love and respect for you. It's been amazing having you on the team for so long, and obviously we'll know each other for years to come. But I don't tell you enough how much I appreciate you. So thanks for
Hey,
all you've done for the schools over the years.
thank you. And not just turn it around and bring it back at you. But boss, if it wasn't for you, I would have been lost. So I really do appreciate, and the martial arts, and of course the one above.
Oos. Well, with that, let's hold hands and sing Kumbaya.
We can do that. I got the
All
first
right.
verse, you got the second.
All right, man. All right. Much respect. Thanks for being on the line. Take care.
Love it. Anytime, boss. You have a great rest of your day.
Thank you for tuning in today to our podcast. I hope you found it valuable and inspirational. To stay connected, please subscribe to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you go for your podcasts. If you enjoyed today's show, please give us a 5-star review. And we really sincerely would appreciate some feedback. Your feedback helps us to create high quality content that will help others in the future. If you'd like to follow me, you can go to Dave Kovar on Facebook or Haunchie Dave Kovar on Instagram. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on next episode.